All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Podcast presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. So just kind of talk about what we spoke about recently is we had our nice little Thursday night wrestling review. We also had our Friday night Smackdown preview. And up next, we have a nice little WrestleMania sneak peek. So let's get on into it. But first, just to remind you guys, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. With your questions, just put your questions up on top of the list so we can have like a nice little back and forth conversation and I can see it. I want to see your opinions. Obviously, I don't just want to just talk at you guys. Like I want to have this nice little like this flow of just wrestling because wrestling is important to us. We're wrestling fans. We're a living and thriving, breed. It's always good to run into a wrestling fan. It's always good. Like I remember going to Disneyland, and I know this is kind of off, but I remember going to Disneyland, and I remember wearing my Seth Rollins shirt. Then someone came up to me like, "Hey, nice shirt, bro," and automatically I felt like this like connection, this like astronomical like whoa, like we just had a moment, me and this guy. But like I said, so leave a nice little review, something positive. We love we're peace, love, and positivity here. Once again, it helps the show. And again, the link is at gsmcpodcast.net. So let's go ahead and move on to that WrestleMania sneak peek. Ah, it's gonna be so awesome. Gonna be so cool. So we'll start light. Well, not even light because all these matches are just like oh my god, like this wrestling spectrum of awesomeness is just absolutely off the throttle. Um, let's start with Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Gunther versus Sami Zayn is going to be a match to remember, and Sammy's gonna push Gunther to his limits. But I don't know, out of everyone, and it's so crazy and it seems so kind of rude to like look at like Sammy and be like, I don't think this guy can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Gunther's having a historic reign. It's to the point where you kind of have to think about as a wrestling fan when you come approach this kind of, this match is like you want to make sure when Gunther loses the championship, he's losing it to someone that WWE is going to go absolutely ape crap over. Like they're going to push them over the limit. They're going to push them over the boundaries. They're going to be like the next face. Honestly, I think Sami Zayn winning the championship would be good for the WWE because Gunther's been kind of, he's been there, done that. And he was supposed to fight, Brock Lesnar, but, the whole thing with the alleged scandal and stuff like that has left them kind of, unable to do so. But I don't know. Sammy's a good fighter. Sammy's a good fighter. You can pin him up against like Finn Balor or Ricochet, Austin Theory, Chad Gable. Oh, if they like feud Chad Gable and Sami Zayn after this, that would be pretty. WWE would definitely do it right. Um, Next, I have the Logan Paul United States Championship match in a triple threat match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. This match is going to be. I honestly, ever since SummerSlam was announced to be in Cleveland, Ohio, home spot for Logan Paul. I kind of knew that Logan Paul was going to go into Cleveland as the United States champion. I don't know who he's going to face, but maybe like another like Cleveland or Ohio native. Like what if like imagine like Dolph Ziggler coming back or something like that, or Dean Ambrose? That'd be pretty cool. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But I some of the reasons why I believe they make like a triple threat match is that triple threat matches always usually kind of have, the sneaky, kind of slithery champion find a way to win the match by like a roll up or like that classic, like an RKO or a stunner to Randy Orton. And then like Logan Paul throws him out of the ring and like he covers the man, like taking credit and stuff like that. Everyone's pissed off because it's like, oh my God, you're really going to take credit for someone else's, like, someone else's thing, or he's going to use his alleged like brass knuckles that he's been using for a pretty long time. Or KSI is going to find a way to interfere in the match and kind of ensure that Paul retains the championship. So honestly, I see these kind of like the strategic, plan here for the match, it kind of varies. But I think the outcome is kind of, all the same. I think Logan Paul's going to walk out. But all right, moving on, we have that six-pack ladder match challenge. Like right now, I don't know all the teams that are going to go through it, but I think it's going to be one of the best matches. I think they should make it for night two. I think it should be right there before the Reigns and Cody match because it's going to be electric. It's going to be super cool to see these guys flying off the ladder, which is like that's kind of the reason why they implemented the Money in the Bank match is because you had six superstars trying to get that briefcase and so much carnage, so much action. Those matches usually last like close to like 45 minutes because you essentially need to make sure all the other five opponents are down, make sure you have time to climb up the ladder, make sure you have time to unhook whatever you're trying to unhook. And in this case it's going to be the world tag team titles. But to be honest, I really don't want to see Damian Priest and Finn Balor come out as champions. I know the Judgment Day has been um, a good faction this year. I give them that, but I don't know. I'm just tired of it. I'm just very, very tired of it. I want to see tag team wrestlers fight other tag team wrestlers, if that makes sense. Like, for an example, when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn won the titles away from the Usos at WrestleMania last year, I think it was the main event of night one, actually. But I don't know. I kind of thought, I was like, oh man, you have these two singles wrestlers that should be fighting for championships like the Intercontinental, the United States, and I don't think Sammy's like really up to that, like Universal or WWE, but Kevin Owens perhaps. When you have two singles wrestlers fighting the tag team, that's probably the best way to put it. Two singles wrestlers shouldn't be tag team champions. They shouldn't be tag team champions because then it just devalues other tag teams because you obviously the two singles wrestlers are kind of like not better than the tag team tag team challengers per se, but I don't know. It just seems like I don't like it. Like it just seems like they kind of have these guys on these pedestals that you can't really beat them. Like Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion. You have Senor Money in the Bank. Who knows how is he going to cash that in? But I think he cashes it in on WrestleMania. I guarantee it. I think he's going to cash it in on Seth beating Drew for the third time, or Drew beating Seth Rollins, kind of renewing that Drew McIntyre Damian Priest rivalry. But I don't know. The Judgment Day has been riding this wave for a pretty long time, to be honest. I remember when the Judgment Day first started, I kind of thought about it and I was like, oh man, I don't think this faction's really going to work. And there was at times where it was about to fizzle away, but then Rhea Ripley, she won the women's championship, and then Finn Balor and Damian Priest won the tag team titles. Then Dirty Dom won the North American Championship in NXT. So that kind of created prestigious, value to the faction. But I don't know. It's not that I'm sick of it, but it's just that like I don't know. I could see Finn Balor kind of doing so much more, and I want to see Damian Priest and more of that like singles competition, kind of thing. But hey, I don't know which way they're gonna go through with it. But I'm just here to watch. I'm just here to go along for the ride. All right, next, let's talk about Rhea and Becky. Rhea Ripley. It's gonna be one hell of a match for the championship. Um, I think Becky right now she's on such a hot streak. Absolutely, like she's killing it, guys. Like she recently wrote a book. Um, and I think it's available on the 26th, but I think you can pre-order it right now on Amazon.com. But I don't know, like she's so over right now with the fans and stuff like that. Like she was a heel for a little while, but she didn't last very long because I think the fans love her too much. And I think she does really well as like kind of like the baby face. It's kind of like the face of the company, so to speak. But I can see her winning, defeating Ripley because Ripley's been this dominant just force. Or, knowing Becky's, wrestling background of letting other superstars win to kind of get over, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know who's woman enough to fight Rhea Ripley. Like, I can see Nia Jax and her kind of rekindling, but Nia Jax kind of had her championship match at Elimination Chamber, so I don't think they would do that all again. But I think if you put the strap on Becky, you can kind of rehash that Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, feud, and then you can have Liv Morgan trying to finish her story and try to challenge Becky for the World Women's Championship. Because if Liv Morgan would challenge Rhea Ripley and had a match with her, we automatically would know that like Rhea Ripley would absolutely tear her apart. But since it would be Liv and Becky, I think Liv would have a chance. I think she would have a chance. So that's once again going over can a champion be too dominant, to kind of mess up future match cards and future bookings? I think it's a possibility. Moving on, we have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins has also been on a huge roll this year. Drew McIntyre has kind of made his way back into like the heel position, because he does really well in both. Um, I think he insulted the crowd on Monday night that I was kind of like, okay. For a second, I thought Drew was kind of like one of those guys that are kind of out there to get his own. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people like him or hate him, kind of like a Randy Orton kind of figure. But I don't know, the way he like spoke to the crowd, I was like, oh, like all that thought about Seth Rollins turning his back on Cody Rhodes kind of like went in the garbage. Like now, I think they're gonna win match night one, the tag team match against The Rock and Roman. Now to kind of make it like a nice little one-on-one. But of course, probably the Bloodline's gonna get involved anyway. I think that pack that Paul Heyman makes and that Roman makes and The Rock makes absolutely means nothing. So, you know, I don't know. I hope it's a nice little fair match, but it'd be entertaining as hell to watch either way unfold. So I'm just, I love watching wrestling. I'm here for the ride. Um, so it's gonna be a good match between Seth and Drew overall, and I think that Damian Priest will, cash in his Money in the Bank in this match. So, for sure. I don't think he would cash it in. No, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't cash it in on Cody. I don't think he would. That would be the craziest cash in of all time, to be honest. As a wrestling fan, seeing that, of course, you had Seth Rollins come in and cash it in against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and then Michael Cole was like, Seth Rollins wins the title, Seth Rollins wins the title, and it was just like such like an iconic call that it just echoes through your brain, and like I don't think there's been a crazy cash in like that for a pretty long time. I remember watching the original one when Edge cashed it in on John Cena, where John Cena just finished the Elimination Chamber match, and the structure just rose up, and then Vince McMahon came out and he's like, Edge is cashing in his Money in the Bank, and then it was history after that. Kind of created the Rated R Superstar. Um, Next we have LA Knight and AJ Styles. This is gonna be a good match. It's cool for both of the superstars who are like championship worthy, but they're kind of like it's kind of hard to compete with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns right now. But I don't know. I see them both in wrestling and championship bouts in the future. So I don't really see them going anywhere. But I don't know. AJ Styles has been all over wrestling. He really has. He's been New Japan Wrestling. He's been in Impact. I think he did a little thing with Ring of Honor. And I think he's kind of going back to that. Like he's been with the WWE for a pretty long time. And I think that's something that he's always wanted to try. And he's won some titles. He's won some titles. But I think ultimately he seems like he'd be happier, like more wrestling for that other promotion at AEW, TNA, and like Ring of Honor. I would miss him at like hell. Like I don't want to see AJ Styles leave, but the way they've been booking his, character lately, I don't know. It's to the point where in my brain, I'm like in their brain, and they're like, "What the hell do we do with Styles, man? Like he's so talented, but right now he can't. They don't want to put him over Gunther. They would never have him beat Roman or Cody if Cody wins. It'd be kind of interesting to see him and Seth kind of have like a nice little feud, but I don't know. And the LA Knight's kind of on the same like little wavelength. How he's really, really liked by the fans, and I don't know. I think it's well, I don't know what they're gonna do with his character, but he's been one of the better superstars that kind of rose this year in 2024. Well, 2023/2024 from last WrestleMania to this WrestleMania. All right, and I got Jimmy and Jay Uso, the brothers, going at it. Keep this short and simple. It's gonna be entertaining as hell. You know, like the Hall of Famer Rikishi said, it's good for both their careers. So let's watch it. It's gonna be pretty cool. All right, we got Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman. Kind of talked about this match earlier. Nothing really much to be said. Uh, it's oh man, there's gonna be like a lot of twists and turns, a lot of like just a lot of trash talking. It's gonna be pretty, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know how fatigued they're gonna be from the night before, but moving on to the main event on night two, Roman Reigns versus Cody. I think Cody's gonna win it. I think the Bloodline, nevertheless, what happens on night one is gonna try to help Roman Reigns. Or but I don't think The Rock would ever like turn his back on. Well, maybe he would. Maybe he would to kind of just like bring up a Rock and Roman thing in the future. But I don't know if they're kind of setting that up for next WrestleMania. But I don't know. It's gonna be crazy, crazy in the world of wrestling, and hopefully they don't disappoint. So I'm right there with you. So don't go anywhere. We got a WrestleMania little sneak peek. Next, we have our wrestling news roundup, where I will send you with some newsworthy topics over the weekend. And yeah, we can discuss. Don't go anywhere.